Good morning. Today is Tuesday, April the 20th, second day back from spring break. And the second day, we are talking about this thing called Renaissance, which actually is one of the most important units of this entire course. And so let's get right to it for a very short lecture, 10 minutes. And so we begin here with Roman numeral 3, where we left off yesterday. The Renaissance begins in Italy. Northern Italy, in fact. And there's a big difference even today between northern Italy and southern Italy. Northern Italy is the place where people want to go if they want to, as tourists. Southern Italy is really still impoverished, and to be honest, dominated by the mafia. And there is a mafia still in Italy. So, Italy at the time was not one country, though. It was divided up into many city states that were ruled or dominated normally by a single godfather, like, and it means godfather, it means like um, Martin Scorsese's godfather, that kind of guy. Kind of a person who used violence to enforce what he wanted to be done. And a lot of these godfathers, like the de Medici family, were very instrumental in bankrolling, funding the artworks of the Renaissance. The de Medici family at first bankrolled Michelangelo, and then because of something Michelangelo did that offended them, they tried to kill him. Quite interesting. And Michelangelo had to spend a year in hiding in the city of Florence, which was not that big of a city. He lived in a small, tiny room and passed his time away drawing on the wall. It's one of the lesser known facts about Michelangelo. So, as it says, these were men, families who earned and kept power through commerce, but all too often through acts of violence against potential rivalries. For example, the de Medici family, Lorenzo de Medici, also called Lorenzo the Magnificent, there was a big assassination attempt where they tried to kill him on Easter Sunday, of all places, in church. He survived the assassination attempt and then went forward to wipe out an entire family of rivals known as the Pazzi, P-A-Z-Z-I family. So there were no police or no strong central governments in Italy at this time, so feuding and murder were very common amongst these rivals for power. These patrons, and the word patron, we when we say the word patronize today, it has double meanings. To patronize someone means to basically placate them, to give them what they want, but it also means to support, and the other meaning is to support them with money, among other things. So those patrons, note the word and its Italian origins. Actually, the word patron comes from the Latin meaning father. Believed in something called civic humanism, which is a belief in doing for the community and doing for oneself. One such family of civic humanists were the de Medici family of Florence. They were known for bankrolling artists like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci. They were also known for protecting themselves and their power with acts of violence, deceit, espionage to match any Michael Corleone or Vito Corleone, the original Godfather, that you might ever want to run into. They were ruthless in doing it with acts of violence, deceit, espionage. Such acts of bankrolling the arts and artist, however, is called patronage. And we all patronize the arts. We talked about this a lot earlier. Um, Patronizing the arts, that means to fund them. And you patronize the arts. In fact, the other night, last Monday night, I went to my first movie in over a year. Yeah, COVID, right? But first movie in over a year, King Kong versus Godzilla. pure mind candy. I mean, not a serious film, obviously, but it's an escape. Now, Song of Bacchus. We'll take this opportunity, and I'm going to pause now to look at the Song of Bacchus. It's on your book in page 193, I believe that was. Yes, 193. We'll take a moment to look at that right now. And we're back, and you see that the Song of Bacchus, and remember that Bacchus is the Greek god of wine and partying. Who wrote it? Lorenzo de Medici, did he not? What does it say about the author? What it says about the author is that the Renaissance was a period of self-exploration. They didn't forget about religion entirely, but they also began to say, I'm going to sneeze, pardon me. Forgive me. Springtime, right? It says that, life was to be enjoyed. So now I'm going to sneeze again, but I'm going to not put you through it. And we are back. Allergies, right? So on page 194, the dome figure. We've seen that before in the Rick Steve video. In fact, the matter is, yesterday I was watching CBS, and they were talking about Rick Steves, what he has been doing during the pandemic. And two things. Number one, he's been doing nothing. And number two, but he kept paying his employees. I mean, Rick Steves, that guy I keep showing you guys, he has made quite a career out of art and traveling and history. Who was responsible for it? Well, I'm starting to say Bernardo Bertolucci, but that's not right. And not Bernini either. Give me 1 second. His name is Brunelleschi. Yeah, Filippo Brunelleschi. What sort of building was it? Well, it was a Romanesque style church with a giant dome over it. I mean, it's amazing. They left that opening where the dome was for quite a long time, waiting for Brunelleschi to come up with this unique design, as opposed to adding another spire, which is what they have in Gothic churches, quite common. It could be said that the Renaissance actually begins in Florence, Italy in 1401. Pardon me. Although its roots go much deeper into history. The art of Florence seemed to try to imitate the ancient art of Greek and Rome with its realistic portrayals of the human body, which for years had been kind of sequestered because the Roman Catholic Church didn't like realistic portrayals of the human body. Still, the themes of art were very biblical and spiritual in nature. Filippo Brunelleschi became the Renaissance's greatest early architect with his magnificent dome that seemed to defy gravity and recall the glories of the Pantheon, you might remember. The Pazzi family of Florence commissioned Brunelleschi and to work for them. That was before the Pazzi family tried to murder Lorenzo de Medici and on Easter Sunday, and then 11 of them were hanged for their trouble. Yeah, Lorenzo de Medici wiped out all of his enemies. Let's one more, shall we? The painting of the Renaissance also began to reflect the Roman and Greek knowledge of the human body, as had once been forbidden as sinful by the Roman Catholic Church. Renaissance art was finally beginning to recapture the 3D look of reality that had escaped the medieval era. One technique was called atmospheric perspective, in which the background hills and trees were blurred. We talked about that already. Another technique was called linear perspective, in which the impression of space is reinforced by creating lines of buildings or walls that extend to a vanishing point and create the illusion of a horizon and depth. This was one of the greatest advancements of the Renaissance art technique. Sandro Botticelli, a de Medici bankroll artist, took these techniques as well as the Renaissance humanist spirit in creating his art. Okay, and that's where we'll end today and pick up tomorrow, shall we?